Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Roll Mile in My Shoes TV. I'm your host, Roll Mile, and today I want to talk about the lynching or drowning, whatever people choose to call it, of a young man by the name of Quawan Jayden Charles. This young man went missing on the day of November I think it was October 30th of this year. And he went missing, but the strange thing about that is his friend, and I believe it was his mother, came to pick him up from his house without his parents' permission, and I guess took them both back to the friend's house or wherever they took um, the victim, Quawan Jayden Charles. Now, he was later found in a sugarcane field, and this is what makes it really suspicious because some reports say that he drowned. And the reason why that's suspicious to me is because I have never known in my life or anyone else's life for someone to drown and they get up and walk to their place or to the place where they're found. Now, I'm not trying to be funny when telling this story. I'm just simply looking at it from my point of view. So, like I said, I've never known anyone to drown in a pond, lake, creek, what have you, and then get up and walk to the place where they're later found. Now, some reports read that he was lynched. And this is where it gets a little strange to me because the pictures that I saw, unfortunately, they look like or they resemble the pictures of Emmett Till. Now, for those of you who may not know who Emmett Till is, and I know it's hard to believe, but yes, we still have people in this day and age that do not know who Emmett Till was. But for those of you who do not know who Emmett Till was, he was a young man who had he came from Chicago down to the south to a place called Money, Mississippi. Now, in 1955 which is when this took place. Emmett Till, he came down from Chicago to Money, Mississippi to spend the summer with his cousins and his uncles. Um, and they did what normal kids do. They played and got into mischief or whatever. And his mother, Mamie Till, she always pointed out the fact that he had beautiful white teeth. He always took care of his teeth. She always made sure that he took care of his teeth. And when he was later found, unfortunately, he did not have his teeth. They had been knocked out due to the violent death which he suffered. And this is all because it was supposed that he whistled at a white woman. Now, as you all know, in the South, back in those days and even earlier, when a Caucasian person approached you, you were supposed to either step off of the curb or onto the curb, depending on where the white person was walking. Now, and you were never supposed to look a white person in the eye, and if you did so, you did so at your own risk. Now, it is said that he whistled at this white woman who, I guess her husband at the time, he owned the store that Emmett and his cousins were shopping at. And it was later found that he did not whistle at this woman at all, And she actually made this up. And due to, I guess, the fact that she, um, even after all these years, were getting threats on her life and her family's life, um, police or FBI, whoever, took her into protective custody, and she is now living out the rest of her days comfortably, but in, witness protection and under heavy guard. Because I guess she wrote a book and, basically told the truth, I guess, as some sort of deathbed confession or whatever you want to call it. But going back to Mr. Quawan Jayden Charles, his pictures look similar to that of Emmett Till's, by just the facial features that they, when they took the pictures, they said it was due to severe decompensation. Now, I've taken classes where decomposition is the topic, and I don't know how humid or hot it was on that day, but if you are a victim of a drowning, like I previously stated, you are not going to decompose unless you are above ground as fast as he did. I believe that the reason his photos look similar to Emmett Till's is because he was beaten and then he was drowned, and left in the sugarcane field, or he was lynched, and possibly before being lynched he was beaten, and then to cover it up they tried to make it look like he drowned, because from the videos that, if I can, I will try to post the links in the description. From the video that I saw on the day that he went missing or left home, he was in perfect or good health or seemed perfectly fine. Now, from that time to the time that he was found, I believe it might have been 24 to 48 hours later. Now, I'm no forensic scientist, but I don't think a body can compose that fast, um, you know, to that extent of what I saw in 24 to 48 hours, you know. And, it doesn't make any sense to me that someone can decompose that fast, or even just the fact that they said that he was drowned or a victim of drowning. Um, Even that is fishy or suspicious or what have you, because like I said in the beginning, I've never known someone in all my years of living to drown in one spot, and then after they've drowned, um, remove themselves from the water and, put themselves in the place where they are found, which is dry. Now, why I make that point is because how could he have possibly drowned and ended up in a sugarcane field? Now, I'm unaware of if there are lakes, you know, anywhere near these sugarcane fields. And I would really like to know, because I couldn't find this information, but I would really like to know, why are some people saying that he was lynched? Now, I couldn't find that information. I looked and I couldn't. I couldn't find that, as well as I couldn't find if there were any lakes near the sugarcane field, because it still doesn't make any sense to me, logistically, or even in a um human logical way, that somebody could drown and then get up and move to a dry spot, no matter how short of a distance or how far of a distance it may be. Now, I will try to do some more research on this and find some more information, but in my opinion, and this is just my opinion, my theory, we all are entitled to our opinions, but I honestly and truly believe that boy and his mother had something to do with Quan's death, because how can you pick someone up from their home and their parents don't know that they've left, and this child is in your care, and then the next thing we know, he winds up, you know, drowned, lynched, or whatever in a sugarcane field with what is said to be very rapid decomposition. Um, I do not know if that's what happened. I don't know if, he was lynched or drowned. But I'm still going towards the possibly, beaten to death, and then he was um drowned to make it look like, you know he had been, lynched. Well, he was beaten and then drowned and tried to make it look like a lynching. But the police are now classifying his death as a homicide. So now, my thing is, I think that people or the authorities in charge of this case should talk to the um the mother or whoever this lady was that was with the other person that came to pick him up. But suspiciously enough, um, as far as I know right now, they have not been able to find this woman, because apparently either she has run or she is hiding or someone's helping her hide. And for that person, whoever they may be, they might want to be careful about that, because you can be charged with aiding and abetting if it turns out that she had something to do with this young man's death, or that she knew anything about it, or was um involved in any planning of it, what have you. But I do believe that they should talk to her, and they should talk to the young man that was with her, who is said to be his friend. Now, I think this is one of those cases where you have two friends that somehow, some way, the friendship turned sour or went bad, or just didn't work out, and for some reason one of the two ended up, you know um murdered, or however you want to look at it, murdered, lynched, drowned, that kind of thing. But I honestly do believe that that is a case of when friendships go bad. And I will have a few videos on cases talking about situations like that, when friendships or relationships go bad and one person ends up, dead because of it, whether it be because of rejection, or they just simply fall out of love, or they were caught cheating and the person couldn't handle that, or you know, for many different reasons. But either way, I will have a few videos on that subject of when friendships or relationships go bad. And I do believe that this case, involving Mr. Quawan Jayden Charles, is a case of when friendships go bad. And unfortunately, he had to pay the price for the friendship going bad. And this also reminds me of a case of a young man who, I can't remember if he lived um, in Florida, and they were going to DC to take pictures. Now, I don't know why you would live in Florida and go all the way to Washington, DC to take pictures, unless there is like a professional or some type of, monetary gain behind it, or a gig that's going to pay you very well. But he was supposed to go to DC with his friend, and take pictures uh, that day, and they were going to, come back the same day. But sadly, his friend um, killed him, and put him in the trunk of, the car that they were driving. And like I said, I will try to leave all the links with all the information of everything that I'm mentioning in the description box, so you guys can go and watch these news clips, and read these stories. Now, these two young men, I do not have their names. That's why I will link these articles and things like that, so you guys can read up on the story. And I will try to do like a part two podcast of that story, as well as the initial story that I mentioned here, with Mr. Quawan Charles. But I do believe that they should talk to the lady or the mom or whoever she may have been that came with the friend, to find out more information, because it's a lot that doesn't sit right with me with this case. It's a lot of holes in this um in this story. And I know that the case is still developing, and some things police can and can't release because of it being an open investigation, and the fact that they want to keep some stuff out of the media until they can either prove it or disprove it, or use it to bring the killer or killers to justice. So I do understand that. But like I said, I will try to link all these articles and news clips in the description box. And if I missed anything in either one of these stories, somebody please let me know, and I will come back with an update once I find any new information, or if something else comes out that I was unaware of, or if I do research and something comes out because of that. But either way, thank y'all for tuning in to another episode of Roll 'em Out in My Shoes TV. And I thank you all for listening. Good night, good morning, and happy holidays whenever you catch this. But thank you guys so much for listening. And like I said, if I missed anything, please correct me. And I will be happy and sure to do an update. But thank you guys for watching.